I love the smell of fall fragrances, pumpkin and apple and you name it. I mean, it's just something about it. Guess what time it is? It's time to make some more of our fall candles. We're gonna start off with making our concrete vessels. I'm gonna show you guys exactly how I do these from start to finish. We're gonna make the vessels, we're gonna make the candles, we're gonna box these babies up and get ready for our fall collection. I'm excited, fall's right around the corner, so we have to get moving. Anyway, you guys, make sure you're subscribed because I know a lot of you guys out there aren't subscribed and you watch my videos. So it really helps me out. So make sure you guys go ahead and take the time to do that now because we're gonna have some more videos coming. Hit the bell and hit the like button and let's jump into the video. All right, you guys know me. I have everything ready to go, all laid out. Of course, I've laid down some white paper. I lay all this stuff out before, get everything ready. So I've got gloves to protect my hands. Here I've got my protective glasses, safety glasses, my bowls. These are great silicone bowls. I mentioned this before. It's great for pouring because you can bend them. It makes it easy to pour into the vessels. We've got paint over there and I'm gonna try and do something with these little extra scraps. Maybe make something different, but we'll see. Molds, of course. Most of my molds, I cut the bottom lip off. A lot of you guys have recommended that, and thank you so much. I appreciate that. This mold here is the ultimate famous mold. I get a lot of questions on this. Well, I have listed the information of where I got the mold, and apparently no one can get a hold of the company that made this mold for me. I don't know if they went out of business. I don't know if they are updating their website or if they're on vacation, but I can continue to just put, leave the link in the description and hope that we get some information on that. But I love this mold. I haven't had any issues with it. I've made hundreds of lids, so I'm sorry, I apologize. If I do find another company that makes custom lid molds, I will leave that information down below. Number one thing, always make sure you have this type of respirator, because even the ones that we used during COVID, they don't work. So I definitely recommend using this type of mask. I'll list where you can get all this stuff in the description below. And this is some warm water. It's not hot water, and I do not recommend using cold water. So here's something to think about, okay? The reason why I use warm water, and the reason for that is just to speed up my curing time. I don't like waiting around 2 to 3 hours, so it does speed it up a little bit more than that. Now, I have found in the winter time, I had a hard time with some candles, and I know you guys probably have had the same problem. Not knowing why your candle vessels are flaking, whether, breaking, they're crumbling and all that stuff. Well, if your temperature is usually above or below, I think it's 50 or 60 degrees, concrete doesn't like that apparently. And after doing a little bit of research, I kind of found that out. If your concrete reaches the freezing temperatures during those months, right? And it's in the setting process. So the water that's in the cement will freeze, and what happens is it expands. Yeah, and therefore this is what causes those concrete vessels to become brittle, they're weak, and then they flake. So I hope that helps you guys out. I know this has happened to me several times and I couldn't figure out why, and that is the reason for that. But anyway, that's it. I just wanted to tell you guys that. I know a lot of you were having some problems with your vessels breaking and becoming brittle, so that is the reason for it. Slowly just add your Simmental, and normally I put water in first, but in this case I kind of got filming and all that stuff and I totally forgot to add my water first. But I'm gonna add about 10 ounces of the Simmental, just the powder itself. Not sure with the water how many ounces I use of water. It just all depends on how thick or thin you like your mixture. But yeah, I'm slowly pouring this because I don't want this stuff to float around like crazy. I've got my mask on, you know, gloves, all that stuff, but I still feel as if somehow I'm breathing this stuff in. Go ahead and just continue to keep adding water to your mix until you get that right consistency. And normally I like kind of like a thick pancake, like everybody says. It's like a pancake consistency. You want to just keep mixing until you work out all of the clumps. And then once you get all of it mixed up, it may harden up on you, start to set up on you a little bit. Just add a little bit more water to it. Now, as you can see, as I'm pouring this, I pour it slowly and then I just tap it a little bit so that way those bubbles that are down at the bottom kind of start working their way up. And then I'll add my acrylic paint. And this right here is another reason why I have white paper down to protect my table, because it always happens. I don't know about you guys, but I always end up just like that, messing it up. And then I get frustrated because I've already made a mess and I've just started out with the first vessel. Every time you fill up your mold, tap out all of the bubbles as much as you can. There is a dentist tool that you can use. I will list that. I've heard really good things about it. I still haven't gotten around to buying it yet, but I'll list that below. I heard it's very helpful in working out the bubbles as you're working on your next candle vessel. Now I have to say, unmolding these things has been so much easier once I had cut the lip off the bottom. So I like to wait a few days and just let these things completely dry out, and then I'll go in with the Earth Safe Finish seal coat, and this is an eco-friendly seal coat. I like to do about 2 coats on the inside. And you're going to completely saturate these things. You don't need much. Make sure you coat the entire inside of this candle vessel. Now for the fun part, as we get closer to completing these, time to wick. I'm using the wooden wick. I find that these wicks work perfect for these vessels. I've never changed. I've always stuck with the same type of wick. I'm very, very happy with these. This here works really well. This is for my 16-ounce vessels, and it works really well for these actual candles. So it places the wick directly in the center. So I really enjoy using this thing. It makes it so much centering the wicks so much easier. Time to pour our wax. I love using this funnel. I fill my funnel full of the wax once I've mixed it, got it to the right temperature, and this just makes pouring your candles so much easier. It doesn't cause any type of mess, because that's the last thing you want to do is get the wax and the oil on your candle vessel. So this is great, and normally what I try and do is about 5 to 6 at a time, just because that's how much wax this thing actually holds for these 9-ounce candles. Then we want to trim those wicks down to about 1/4 inch, get all those trimmed. And then I'm going to go on the outside of the vessel and start seal coating the outsides. And what I'm going to do is lay my flakes down. So in the last video that I did, I actually put the flakes in with the paint. Well, I didn't really like how that kind of turned out. I did have some problems with it. Some of the oil seeping through, some of the fragrance oil and the wax kind of was seeping through the concrete, so it kind of created holes. Well, in this case, I am just taking the gold flakes and I'm tapping them on that seal coat so that allows them to stick. And then what I'll do is I'll paint over them. That way they seal down to the actual vessel. I'm going to head over to the computer and I'm going to make my labels and my dust covers. So this time I decided I want to do something a little bit different. Last year I believe I just did the plain dust covers on top and considered that as my label, you know, in itself, but this time I want to add a little more to it. So I'm going to do a foil on these dust cover labels and also the clear labels, and I'll show you guys here. I use Canva to basically create these labels and dust covers, and then I print them out, and I'm just printing the dust covers out on cardstock. So once they're printed, now I'm going to foil these. So I just figured out this technique not long ago and I don't know why I didn't figure this out sooner, but what I'm going to do is once they print, right now they're black, I'm going to lay this foil paper on top, and of course you put it face up, which did not make any sense to me, but this is how you're supposed to do it. I cut the foil to where it fits my paper. I'll trim off any excess that's on the edges. I want to cover all of the black laser ink, and you got to make sure that you have a laser printer for this because apparently it doesn't work for inkjet. So once you do that, you're going to place a sheet of paper on top of the foil, I guess just to kind of protect it. So once it goes through this laminator, sealer, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't, I guess, come off. So I'm just taking some of this paper, and it's just a regular sheet of paper, lay it on top and one on the bottom, and then you're just going to run it through the laminator. And now I ran it through twice, and this laminator, man, this thing works pretty good. So I ran it through twice just to be safe. And check this out. For me doing this for the first time, I was really excited. So this is so cool. Look at how it turned out. And now they're all nice and shiny, so it makes it look really classy looking. And then normally I like to just basically run those through my Cricut machine. I think I've put this thing through a lot. It's taken a beating for sure, but it's still going strong. Okay, same thing with the labels. These are going to be the labels to go on top of the boxes and also on the vessels. Like I said, I may try and do the labels. I want to see how they look. They do have like a shine to them. I'm not sure how they're going to look on the vessel, but I'm going to put the gold, same thing, on top of these. I'm going to make these a rose gold foiled label and then run this thing through twice. And now you can see how cool they look. I also wanted to try and do some vinyl labels like I've done in the past with my like teakwood looking candles that I painted. I wanted to try and do some of this gold vinyl. I did find that it was a little bit yellow, but I went ahead and just cut a bunch of these letters, and we'll see how this one turns out. So I'll try and do both just to see which one I prefer. This is not gonna be easy. I can tell you that right now. This is gonna be time consuming. We'll see how long it takes. All right, decided to go with the harvest apples. So now once I get all the weeding and everything off, which took the longest, the pumpkin souffle did not work out. So I don't think it cut all the way through, so I kind of struggled with that for a little bit. So now we're gonna take the transfer and we're gonna put that on the back. This, I will tell you, was extremely time consuming. And we're gonna lay that right on top, make sure it covers the entire area. Let's hope this works, because I just put a lot of time into this. So now you just peel off that transfer backing, and that turned out super easy compared to what I just went through. There's got to be an easier way to weed this type of vinyl. Make sure it's centered. Pull this transfer paper off and see if this actually sticks to the concrete. Now that was the easy part. Then I'm gonna add my dust cover, and they turned out so cool. Now here I'm adding my bottom sticker. You know, we have to put our warning labels on, so never forget to do that. Add the warning label to the bottom, and then I'm going to put on some of these little tiny, I guess you would call them little feet. So these things just make a nice touch. It keeps the candle from kind of wobbling a little bit, so it levels it out. Then we'll add our sticker to our box. I always like to put that on the top, that way we know what is inside of this box. Then I like to add a little bit of stuffing to the bottom, just to kind of add a little cushion for the candle. And then I like to stuff it with a little bit of crinkle paper, just to make it, you know, nice and secure inside. It keeps it from rattling around inside the box, and it's all ready to go for, you know, the shipping. So you can ship it directly in this box. Of course, I would put a little bit of a protection box around the outside of this one, but yeah, it's ready to go. So this is how they turned out. I hope you guys like it. And just like that, we've got our fall line all ready to go. So I'm excited. You guys, make sure you're subscribed. I hope you liked the video. Hit the bell, hit the like button, all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.